Hi guys, welcome back. You might remember that I reviewed this, the Barkeep from Twisted Assisted, some time ago now. It was a sort of pry bar stroke barkeeper's tool, had a bottle opener, pry bar on the top there, also had an icebreaker. So it seems like a pretty sensible option to have a safety tool in this similar variant. So this is clearly aimed at people that travel in vehicles and may need a safety tool of some kind to either break the glass, to cut a seat belt, and it's in a very similar manner. As you can see, I'll hold them both up. You know, very similar form factor. Comes with the Kydex sheath. That was my original only complaint about this one, is that the front end of the Barkeep was incredibly sharp. I suggested that maybe some people dull that slightly, because you would be in effect carrying around a fixed blade knife with that. And it didn't come with the Kydex sheath originally. They did sell them, I think, you know, they were selling them for like a couple of pence or something to give everyone a sheath that had bought one of these. So they're really good guys at Twisted Assisted, but this one actually comes as standard with the Kydex sheath. So we can see again, this has the glass breaker on that knuckle ring there. Now some people have mentioned, does this fall foul of any UK law? As far as I can tell, this is a legitimate product for, you know, keeping in a vehicle should you need to escape the vehicle. It's an emergency rescue tool. We'll look at the blade part of it in a minute, but it doesn't actually have a workable blade as such. So I believe that this would be okay in the context of carrying it as a rescue tool. That context would change, obviously, just like, you know, if you carry around a pencil and you take it into a pub and you stab someone in the face with it, that pencil has now become a weapon and you're obviously going to be charged with some crime relating to that. The same could be said for these. You know, if you were just carrying this around in your pocket, walking around the streets, arguably you don't need a rescue tool in your pocket if you're not in a vehicle. So that would be one consideration. If you're a professional lorry driver and you wanted a rescue tool in your cab, I think that any sensible police officer would probably take that as a reasonable thing to do. Ultimately in the UK, these things would possibly end up in court to be decided. So that's really about your choices, you know, the context of how you carry things, the context of how you carry yourself. But just understand that any object in the UK could get you into trouble if you're walking around the streets with it being stupid. There is no kind of green light to just carry whatever you want, wherever you want. So let's look at this. We obviously have the like black nitrided coating. It looks really good in that desert tan color, and we can see again very similar on the tip design, but this time it's not sharp at all. You know, I can literally, you know, push that into my hand. It's never going to cut anyone. It's not sharpened, so there's no possibility of cutting yourself on that, and obviously there's no possibility of that being classed as a fixed blade. You do have a sharpened section in here. It's hidden away, so that would actually be impossible to cut anyone with, and is clearly been designed for cutting things like seat belts and webbing, and it does that really well. It is incredibly sharp, but very nicely keeps the cutting edge away from, you know, prying fingers. If you've got maybe young people around, then you don't really want to have a knife sat around in the car in case you need to cut through a seatbelt. And also cutting through something like that when your adrenaline is high, you know, if you've got a live blade and you're trying to saw through something like a seatbelt and, you know, time is running out, you could in effect actually accidentally cut someone. That could be really serious. Whereas with this, you know, you're not going to cut anyone, you're just going to cut the webbing of the seatbelt that you actually intend to. So very cool indeed. Again, comes with a sprung steel pocket clip. As always, it's nice and tight. There is a little bit of a roughness to the G10, so if you were sliding that in and out of a posh pair of trousers, it might rough the material up a little bit. You could always just take that clip off and kind of sandpaper a flat spot there if that's something you're bothered with. But probably most of you aren't going to be wearing this with your, you know, poshest suit. It's going to be like some work clothes. So you have, you know, options of how you would wish to carry that. You can obviously carry it like this or like this. The fingering there, it just allows you to strike. So if you wanted to strike some glass, you've got that hardened carbide tip on the end. You could strike the glass that way. Equally, you could strike the glass like so and punch it like that. So you do need something like this if you're in a vehicle, especially commercial vehicles, buses, things like that. If you ended up getting stuck in one of those, there is absolutely no way on earth that you're going to break those windows. You know, you can try and punch them, kick them. I've seen people try. We've done some stuff at work with ballistic testing on that kind of glass. Train glass is a really, really tough one, and you definitely would need something like this to break a window out. So for that, it's fantastic. I'll chuck a link below. Of course, the Twisted Assisted guys are always awesome to deal with. I thoroughly recommend that you go and buy something off their website. They've also got some great knives there as well. A lot of their stuff is also available on Heine Hanes, so check that out. If you guys like to buy your bits and pieces from Heine, you can still buy your Twisted Assisted from there as well. Thanks for watching. Take care. I'll catch you all next time.